Hello. Now, today we are going to be looking at the equation of the line, and we're going to be looking at styles of question where we are given the equation of a line to begin with, and then we're asked to figure out stuff about the equation of that line, or about its slope, or about where it crosses the y-axis. So often in an exam style question, where this type of question will come up is they'll give you the equation of a line, like I've given you the equation of the line n here, this line here in our picture. And they will ask you to find its slope, or they could ask you to find a line that would be parallel or perpendicular to the line n. And if they ask you about parallel or perpendicular, we know they're really asking you about slope. And if they've given you the equation of the line in the form that I've given it to you here, by far the easiest way to find the slope of that line is going to be to rearrange it into the form y is equal to mx plus c. Y by itself is equal to the slope multiplied by x plus a constant, and the constant, the pure number, is where the line crosses the y-axis. So in n's case, 8 would be the value of c, and we'll see that when we do our rearranging. So this is where we're given the equation of a line and we're asked to find out about its slope, either directly or because we're asked about lines that are parallel or perpendicular to the line equation that we're given. Let's get to rearranging. And reminder, all of this work is based on formulas that are on page 18 in your log tables. So I want to end up with 1y is equal to the x stuff and the numbers by themselves on the other side of the equal sign. So at the moment I have 2x here and plus 24. I don't want them there. I want them over on the right hand side like I have them in my final formula here. So if I don't want my 2x here, what am I going to do? I'm going to take 2x away from both sides of my equation, so I'm left with 0 x's on the left, and I'm going to take 24 away from both sides of my equation, so I am left with 0 numbers on the left. So then I'll be left with minus 3y is equal to minus 2x minus 24. Lots of progress made here. I now have my x and my number on the right, and I have my y by itself. But I want 1y, not minus 3y. So how am I going to rearrange that? I'm going to divide it. I have minus 3 multiplied by y. If I divide that by minus 3 divided by minus 3 is 1. So I'm left with 1y on the left-hand side, which is what I want. But I must do the same thing to the other side of my equation. So I need to divide both of these things by minus 3. So I have minus 2x all over minus 3 minus 24 all over minus 3. I put this into my calculator. I can't put the x in, but I can put minus 2 all over minus 3 into my calculator, and I get y is equal to 2 over 3x, and minus 24 divided by minus 3 is plus 8. So what have I got now? I've got my c. My c is 8 and my slope is 2 over 3. Now let's go over to my picture and see if that actually worked out. So I have where we cross the y-axis is at 8, so that checks out. My number on the end is 8, and my slope being 2 over 3, well, we know that the slope is the rise over the run. So if I start here and I rise by 2 and then I run across by 3, I get back to my line again. Rise by 2, run across by 3. So yes, my slope is 2 over 3. So without having to use a specific slope formula, I'm able to find out what the slope of my line is. Otherwise, I'd have to find 2 points on this line and use my slope formula in order to get the slope as 2 over 3. You can see this is a lot faster than having to use a special formula. So let's follow the same pattern for getting the equation of the line k and the line m, so that we can look at how these questions would be given to us in an exam style. So now I'm going to be dealing with the line m here. So this is the line m, not a slope. And the equation of that line would be given to you as 3x plus 2y minus 24 is equal to 0. And again, I want to end up with 1y is equal to the x and the number. So I don't want this minus 3 here. Sorry, I don't want this 3 here, so I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. And I don't want this minus 24 here, so I have to add 24. Why am I adding 24? Because I want to have 0 numbers here. If I'm at minus 24, how do I get to 0? I add 24. So when I do that, I have 2y is equal to minus 3x plus 24. I want to have 1y here, so what do I need to do? I need to divide both sides by 2. So now I have 1y, which is what I want, all over minus 3x over 2 plus 24 all over 2. So y is equal to minus 3 over 2x. 24 over 2, in our calculator we get that that is 12. So now I have the equations of both of those lines. Now if I was asked in an exam to say something about, say what I know about these two lines, these lines N and M, hopefully it will jump out at you what's going on from the picture. You can see, what do we know about the lines M and N? They are perpendicular to each other. They're at right angles to each other, just like the line K and M are perpendicular to each other. They're at right angles to each other. How do I test that algebraically? I get the slope of this one, or I'll get the slope of M, or slope of N I should say. So the slope of N is equal to 2 over 3. If I have a perpendicular line, I flip this upside down and change its sign. So it goes to, I flip it upside down, so what was on the top goes on the bottom and vice versa, and then I change the sign. And when I do that, lo and behold, I have the slope of the line M. So that is the slope of the line M. Therefore, N and M are perpendicular, and that's our perpendicular symbol. So if we were given an exam question where they asked us to show that two lines are perpendicular to each other, or they asked us what can you say about these two lines, we can find their slopes and we can find that they are perpendicular to each other by showing that if we flip one of the slopes upside down and change its sign, we get the slope of the other line. And again, you must know that fact by heart. Now the other thing that we could be asked about is parallel lines. So I'm going to look at the line K now. And the equation of the line K, this line here, is 4x minus 6y minus 18 is equal to 0. Now I'm going to rearrange this just like I have the others. I want y by itself, so what am I going to do? I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides, and I'm going to add 18 to both sides. Exactly the same strategy as I have done for all of my other questions. Minus 4x plus 18. I want y by itself, so I don't want minus 6y, I want 1y. So I'm going to do this method that I use so often for all of my equations. I'm going to divide everything by my number that is multiplied by y, and I end up with 1y here, which is what I like, and then I have minus 4x all over minus 6 plus 18 all over minus 6. And I put these into my calculator. Minus 4 divided by minus 6. Minus 4 divided by minus 6 is going to leave me, apologies, is going to leave me with 2 over 3. And plus 18 divided by minus 6 is going to leave me with minus 3. Now, what can I say about the line K and the other lines that I've got? Well, I can see that the slope of the line K is the same as the slope of the line N. So the slope of the line K is the same as the slope of the line N. So that means that they are, what's our word for the slopes being the same? Parallel. So as the slope of N is equal to the slope of K, therefore N is parallel. Two vertical lines next to each other means parallel to the line K. And likewise, with the line K to the line M, we know that they're perpendicular. Well, let's double check that. The slope of the line, let's start with the slope of the line M this time. That's equal to, remember it's the number in front of x, so that's minus 3 all over 2. That changes, we flip it upside down, so it's 2 all over 3, and we change the sign so it becomes plus. So a line perpendicular to M, our blue line here, is going to have a slope of plus 2 over 3, and you can see that that is the slope of K. So that's equal to the slope of K. And this shows us that M is perpendicular to K. The line M is perpendicular to the line K. So again, if we are asked questions in an exam where we're given the equation of a line, we're often going to use rearranging it in the form y equals mx plus c to find out what its slope is and to find where it crosses the y-axis. And we must know that if we are given an exam question. They don't have to prompt us by telling us to rearrange it like this. We need to know that if we're given the equation of a line, we're likely going to need to change it into this form so that we can easily find the slope and find where it crosses the y-axis. And we usually do that in an exam context in order to find out lines that are parallel or perpendicular to each other. And that's what we need for right now.